We have three presenters today. We're going to start with Nancy Zander from Chelsea State Bank. She's the Vice President of the Fraud Department, and she will talk a little bit about the financial aspect and the banking part, followed by our Chief of Police, Kevin Kasiak. He will talk to you about things that they notice or, come to their attention and, whether or not it's appropriate to file a police report. And then at the end, Matt from Bulldog Computers will talk to everybody and kind of fill in what hasn't been covered.
Hi, so I'm Nancy Zander, and I just wanted to go over a few things today because banking always changes as scams change, right? So the scammers learn from us and we learn from them, and we slowly just start changing the way we do things. So it looks different when you go into the bank. It looks different when you walk in to do any wires, large cash withdrawals, and things of that nature. So I just thought we could talk about that for a little bit. So in-person withdrawals, banks are asking many questions when you come in to do that, right? Because the cash, once it's gone, it's really, you can't get that back. So the bad actors have sometimes days, weeks, months to talk to you and convince you that they're trustworthy. And we have about 3 to 5 minutes when you're at the window to determine whether or not we feel you're really buying that car or you're really working on your house. Because they know that we are asking these questions, so they know what to tell you. So keep that in mind when we are asking questions. We're not here to invade your privacy or your space. We're not here to make it so you can't use your money. We just want to make sure you're safe, right? So that's the bottom line. We look for patterns and common verbiage that we see frequently. So it's not personal. We're not looking at you as an individual. We're looking at what you're doing and how you're behaving. Sometimes it's like you have your phone out and you're looking at your phone repeatedly. You might have an earpiece in because somebody's talking to you. And it sounds funny, but we actually have seen those things, right? So once the cash has left the bank, we really can't do anything to recover it. So that's how come I wanted to talk about it, so that you guys don't feel bad when we're asking questions, right? So other things that look different is online banking. Many people didn't want to do online banking years ago, right? So I started in 1988, and online banking was a scary thing. People didn't want to do online banking because of that was where the scammers were really trying to get you, right? So what the banks did to try to make that better is that they added extra security for online banking. So when you sign up for online banking, the computer that you sign up for online banking is called the anchor device. So every online banking now has an anchor device. And I would say maybe not every bank, but most banks. So that anchor device can approve another device. So if you are, your user ID and password has been stolen, then you still have to approve for that computer to actually access your online banking. So keep that in mind. We're trying to do that to make it so it's more safe. And then multi-factor authentication. So you can choose to bypass it, but I would recommend not. When you get the multi-factor authentication, it just gives you a code that you're going to enter in when you log into your online banking. And then stronger passwords. We've made it so that you have to take longer passwords. Which, it's kind of a pain. And nobody likes passwords, right? And they're hard to remember, but they really are there for your protection. So I want you to keep that in mind when you are creating your password. Try to make it a little bit difficult. Write it down if you have to. Keep it in your computer desk drawer or whatever. Your scammers are not going to be in your computer unless you allow them in. So these are some things that we have done to try to make it so that you're more safe. So online banking will allow you, if you write checks, to be able to log in daily and review your checks. And we recommend that you do that. So you want to look at the front of the check, make sure it wasn't changed, and look at the back of the check and make sure it's endorsed by the company that you wrote it to. Sometimes they leave the front of the check be, and they do endorse it differently. So you want to look front and back. Online banking allows you to have capabilities of ACH, so you can create where the money moves electronically instead of writing checks. And then online banking also has bill pay. So all of those things will help you stay safe. So these are the things that look different in our world. Cashier's checks. Cashier's checks used to be the safest thing other than cash, right? The unusual thing about cashier's checks is now the scammers know, and they know that you can't stop them. So they ask often for things they can't, we can't take back, right? So cashier's checks are one of them that they ask you, provide either cash, cashier's checks, or wires, things that you can't get back. The cashier's checks, you can't stop payment for 90 days. It doesn't matter who it is, it doesn't matter what the situation is, we cannot put a stop payment on a cashier's check for 90 days. So once it's endorsed and deposited, we have no recourse. We can ask the bank for it, the bank that was deposited, to send it back, but they're not required to send it back. And most of the time, when it's a cashier's check, you will not see the funds recovered. The faster you can do it, the better. But in all my years of banking, I've seen it recovered one time for a cashier's check. Wires are another thing that people commonly ask for, scammers commonly ask for. Again, it's unrecoverable, so once the money is gone, then it's gone. The scammers know that, so that's one of the things that they are asking people for. When we send a wire, we're going to ask you a bunch of questions, just like cash, right? So the receiving bank should be looking also to see the name that sent the wire, and the name that was supposed to receive the wire, and that's going into that bank account in that person's name. Now, there's many banks that we've discovered that don't look for that. So if you send a wire and you're sending it from you to you, it doesn't look as suspicious on our end. But on their end, they should say, oh, John Smith is sending this wire to himself. Does John Smith bank here? There are many banks that don't do that. So if you're sending a wire, just make sure you know where it's going. A lot of times that's bigger things, right? So purchasing a car, purchasing a house. So just keep in mind, once the money's gone, it's gone. So try to be very careful, and if we're asking questions, just be patient with us and walk through it and make sure the situation feels comfortable. We can request it back, but once 15, 20 minutes goes by, there's not a chance that it's really going to be recovered. So 15, 20 minutes on the same business day. Once the money has received at that end, the scammers know, they go and pull it. If the money's not there, we're not getting it back. So if you're going to write checks, the things you want to keep in mind, every time you write a check, you're giving somebody your bank account number. So you write the check, it's got your bank routing number and your account number on the bottom of it. Every check is the same way. You hand it on over, you just handed your account number over. So everybody is very comfortable writing checks because years ago that was the safe thing to do. And now I'm here to tell you it's not always that safe anymore, right? So the things you want to think about is you don't want to put your social security number on there or your driver's license number or your phone number. We used to write, the memo line would have our credit card numbers. All of that stuff is out in the open now. Most people mail their checks. The USPS is getting broken into and the checks are being, taken out, taken pictures. Sometimes they put them back in the envelope and on the way they go, so they still sometimes get to where they need to be, or sometimes they never arrive at all. So try not to leave blank spaces, and look for an indelible ink pen if you're going to write a check. An indelible ink pen The ink sits on the check a little differently, so it makes it a little bit harder for them to wash a check. I do have a copy of a wash check, so I'll go ahead and pass that around if somebody wants to look at one. It's sort of hard to see, but essentially you're looking for this area that had ink that they removed. So if you all of a sudden get a check in the mail, don't know why, and they're asking you to deposit it, I would be looking to make sure it's not washed. I would be looking to make sure you're not asking for funds back. They're asking for funds back. They're going after the younger kids now for social media, wanting to promote their athletic gear. So if the young kids will promote athletic gear, they'll pay them. We've seen a couple that didn't do any promoting. Here's a $500 check. The check comes in the email. I looked at the back of the check, it was endorsed. I asked the young gentleman, is this your signature? And he said, no. And I said, where did it come from? And he said, they sent it to me. They sent it to me endorsed, and on the back of it, it says, for mobile deposit only. So if that young gentleman was to deposit that, a day or two goes by, they ask the money back. They'll say something like, oh, you didn't present it well. We want our money back. So the young gentleman will come and get his $500, give it back to them, or send it ACH, and then the check comes back the next day as a chargeback to Chelsea State Bank. And if you deposit a check, it is your responsibility to make sure it's good or make good on it. So that young gentleman would owe us $500, and he just gave them real money, and they gave him just a piece of paper. So keep that in mind with any check that you're going to deposit. So some of the things that banks are doing, even your credit card's doing it. You can get account notifications. So I would recommend signing up for any notification you can get, right? So if you get into your online banking, it'll be like, my checking account just cashed any check. You can put in a dollar amount. Maybe you don't want to know unless it's over $1,000. Maybe you want to know every check, so you put in $1. We'll send you notification if money comes out of your account. Your debit card, you want to know if your debit card's been used, sign up for notifications. We'll send you a notification. Online banking has e-sign, ACHs. So anything that you want notifications for, you can pretty much get. And I would say credit cards, you probably have the same thing. You don't have to bank with Chelsea State Bank to have these opportunities. Every bank should have that for you. And I think I'm running over. But the other thing I wanted to make sure that you guys know is very often it's fraud centers also reaching out, but the scammers know the fraud centers are reaching out. So what you need to make sure you do is know how your bank is going to, how the bank is going to reach out to you, how to respond, and how long you have to respond, right? So it usually comes in, with us it's like a text first, an email second, and then a call third. They call last because everybody's scammed. Everybody's been scammed. Guys, I've been scammed. So just keep in mind, you want to know how it's coming through. You want to make sure it's valid. If you have any questions, hang up. Call the bank directly. Call the credit card company directly. Call the investment center directly on a known number, right? So they can make it look like Chelsea State Bank, but it does not mean it's Chelsea State Bank. So pull out your statement, look at what the number is, call that number, and that will help you get in the right position. I think my 15 minutes ran into 20. So Chief, you
No,
want to?
I took 5 of your 15.
Yeah, she took 5, so we're good. We're still on.
We're good?
We're still on track. Yeah.
Okay.
While they're setting that up, just to touch on a couple things that Nancy touched on. Know that the money in your bank is your money. You can do whatever you want with it. But we have at Chelsea, in the 4 years I've been here, there's been several incidents where someone was really nervous. They were shaking and they started talking, or they're on the phone, and the teller starts asking questions like, "Are you okay? I'm just really nervous. This is not a scam, or that I'm going to lose this money." And we get on the phone, or we come in and we can prove that it is a scam and try to get it beforehand. So it's not invasive. They're not trying to be invasive. What they're trying to do is protect you and your investment. You have worked very, very hard for your money. You deserve to keep your money. So it's not invasive. It's not. It's your money. Just know that that's what. And if you don't want to tell them, just say I don't want to tell them. But if you're on the phone, they're going to start asking questions, because a lot of the scammers want to keep you on the phone so they can walk you through something. If somebody ever asks you to stay on the phone, it's a scam hang up. I don't care what they're saying, it's a scam hang up. Okay? All right. So first of all, don't be ashamed. Happens to everybody. Happened to me. I have clicked on the wrong. I've gotten an email that I thought looked legit, and I've got 12 emails to go through. I'm like, I want to get through these as fast as I can, and I click on something, and darn it. Now, luckily, at Chelsea Police, we've got really good firewalls, so it keeps out some of this stuff. But then, or we'll get email, and we'll hear from other people in the city that it is a scam. Don't answer it. But I have had my credit card hacked. Just recently, my Chase card was hacked. Somebody purchased 3 purchases within about 4 hours to REI. It's an outdoor clothing. We don't shop there. We go to Dick's, but that's just what it is. And they were for like $200, $300, $400, and finally in the third one, it happened like within a 3 or 4 hour period. Chase says, "Hey, is this you?" And we're like, "Nope." And I said, "Let me make sure. I'll check and I'll call back." But when I called back, I told them, "No, it is not me. I need a new card." They're like, "Oh, as soon as you thought it was, we canceled that card. It's done. We'll issue you a new one right away." And we weren't responsible for those 3 charges. Everything else was good. We were very lucky. But they'll start doing that. It can happen anyway. Just talk. Everyone here probably has some sort of victim. What we're here to try to tell you is just not to be afraid, not to not talk to people, not to do things, but just to be cautious. Okay? Again, you work very hard for your money. Take 5 extra minutes. Okay? And it's not your fault. If you are scammed, it's not your fault. They're really good. And I'm here to tell you folks, AI, artificial intelligence, is getting better with the phone scams. The voices are sounding more realistic. We used to be able to get these digitized or electronic voices. They're getting better. So we just got to be careful. Phishing is an attempt to fraudulently acquire sensitive information such as usernames, passwords, credit cards, details. Don't give anything over the phone. If someone calls you and say you're a victim of fraud and we need to verify something, hang up. I will give you a story. So in my career, I've had multiple people when I've called and represented myself as the Chelsea Police Department or the Waterford Police Department, my previous job. They said, "How do I know it's real?" I said, "That's a good question. I'm going to hang up. You look up the number for the Waterford or the Chelsea Police Department, you call back and you ask for this person. And they'll get the dispatch center and do you have someone there? Yes, he's actually trying to look for you, that type of thing. And again, that can be spoofed a little bit with fraud, but it's a little less because you are now calling that number. Don't call the number they give you. If your Chase card calls, when they called me, or they actually texted us, I looked at the back of my Chase card and I called them. I had Michigan Medicine call me one time. This is a little bit of a funny story. Michigan Medicine called me. I was due for my colonoscopy, and so they called and they said, "We want to schedule some things." And I said, "Okay." And they said, "But we need to verify who you are. We'd like your date of birth." I said, "How do I know you're Michigan Medicine?" And the nurse on the other end laughed. She's like, "I've never been asked that." Now I was pretty sure it was Michigan Medicine. I said, "I tell you what, I'm going to call you back." So I looked up in all my records and stuff, and I called back Michigan Medicine, and I called back the area I'm supposed to, and I said, "This is who I am." And the person on the phone starts laughing. She goes, "You're the one that hung up on us." And I said, "Well, I didn't hang up on you." She goes, No, you're right, you didn't. But yes, that is a legitimate call. So then I was more comfortable giving that information. They weren't offended. I've never been offended when someone says, I want to verify who you are. Not a problem. If they are offended, too bad. You know? Here's one, American Express. Dear American Express customer, there are a number of invalid attempts on your card from the below IP location. So it's India. We had to believe that there might be some sort of security problem on your account. We had to believe. So we decided to put an extra verification process to ensure your identity on your account's security. If you have the American Express online access, okay, the first question you have to ask yourself, do you have an American Express account? I mean, it seems funny, but you have to ask yourself that. I don't. Okay, so you know what? I'm going to go look up American Express. I'm going to call them. They have a customer service, 800 customer service. And I said, hey, I got this silly email, and I don't have an American Express card. So they said, well, could we get your name? And I gave them their name, and you're like, you're right, you don't have one. That's a fraudulent email. I'm like, fantastic, we're done. But people start to think, I'm like, well, maybe somebody got and hacked my account, and now they opened up a card in my name, which can happen. It has happened. But if you don't have one, don't just assume and click on it. Never click on anything they send you. Going a little off topic. How many people got a letter from the IRS asking for account information? Anybody? Nobody got a letter from the IRS?
My daughter did.
Okay. Did it have a QR code on it? Those little fuzzy little things? Every part of that letter is legitimate except for the QR code. If you go to, what is it, www.irs/gov or .gov, that is a legitimate IRS website. That is their website. If you scan the QR code and go on from there, that is a scam. The scammers are taking that letter, they're duping it and adding the code, the IR code. That's what you have to worry about, okay? So just know there's still different things out there. Everything looks good. But don't hesitate to call anybody. Okay, other things is when you're on computers, it's hard to do here. You can hover over some of these addresses as IP and Administrator or Amex Express. If it's really Amex at Express, which is not theirs, it will say Amex at Express. Otherwise, you may get Tom Jones at Gmail. They've spoofed what it looks like, but it's actually going to their Gmail account. That's one way, but you got to hover over it. Okay, it's not foolproof, but it is one way. Subject, grammar, we looked at that. Just click here. Again, do you even have an American Express card? Oh, how about this one? Microsoft 360, we found a problem with your computer. You need to click here so you can get Microsoft to work on it. Never. Never. There are scams going around. Your computer is infected with a virus. Here's one. You've looked at child abusive material on your computer. You've got to contact us immediately to wipe it off. Do not turn off your phone. Turn off your phone. Turn off your phone. If you turn it back on and it still pops up, then maybe there's something wrong and you might want to take it to Bulldog. But turn it off. And 99.9% of the time when you turn it back on, your phone works perfectly. Somewhere they've attached their information to a site that you want, and it could be an absolutely, and most often it's an absolutely legitimate site. Or you are searching vacation destinations and you're clicking on a couple of these different places like go here or here, and they've got it embedded. As soon as you click on that, it will send this virus into, or forward this information to you and say that your computer's infected. Let's see. We're going to go through a couple of these things real quick. Oh, there's voicemail. Hi, this is Kevin. Thanks for being a Detroit Edison Energy customer. Since new energy policies have passed, the local government is giving homeowners rebates up to $2,000. It won't cost you a penny to switch to solar. You know, they're just phishing scams. Where's the one I want to get to? Oh, there's also Success After Financial Exploitation. It's SAFE. It's put on by Wayne State University. There are programs that can help you try to get some of your money back. Again, it's getting harder and harder when you click on it, but there are some ways that they can get some stuff back. Gift cards. Nobody, and I mean nobody legitimately takes gift cards as payment. Nobody. Some people are giggling, but there are still people out there that are going and buying thousands of dollars in gift cards. And the moment you scratch that on the back and give that number, your money's gone. CVS doesn't allow you to buy high-dollar gift cards anymore after like 5 o'clock because they were getting people to do that after 5 o'clock knowing that their bank is closed. So you can't check that stuff. Won the lottery. This is the police department. We're gonna come get you and arrest you if you don't pay us money. If we have a legitimate warrant, we don't let you know we're coming. It would be like playing a game of hide and seek, and we're trying to find you, and you're like, I'm over here. Well, that was really tough, you know. So we won't tell you that. Okay? If we want to correspond with you, anything in legal terms or friend of the court or the county, they will do it through mail. They will do it through mail. Okay. There is the children and grandchildren scam. Listen, I think Facebook is an amazing tool. It's allowed people to connect with a lot of people, but you need to be very careful because the bad actors, they look at open Facebook accounts and they try to mine your information and then they call you and that's how they know what your grandkids' name are, children's name are. That's how they know that you might have attended a ceremony or gone on a vacation with them because they're looking at your photos. And so they'll call and say, Grandma, this is so-and-so, I'm in jail. Okay, I need money, I need bail, or they're never gonna let me out. Okay. You can post bail 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Police departments, sheriff's departments, law enforcement agencies are just like everybody else. Money makes the world go round. We will collect your money 24/7. We'd rather have the money than the body. So if you can post it at 10:01, great. If you can't post it until 11 o'clock, we'll still take it and we'll still let that person out at 11 o'clock. There's no emergency. If you get a call like that, hang up. Call your whatever it is, grandchild, nephew, son or daughter, and you'll be amazed that you'll probably get in talk with them right away. What do you mean? I'm not in jail, I'm at work. I have been for the last 8 hours. So be careful of those. Lottery scams. Listen, I understand the IRS wants their money. They want their taxes, but nobody makes you pay the tax money up front. If you win any lottery in the state of Michigan, you can take that lump sum, but they're also going to take their taxes right off the top. You don't have to worry. You don't have to pay it up front. They'll take it off the top and give you what's left. You don't have to pay $10,000 to get $1 million. It just doesn't happen.
We have just received a notification regarding your tax filing from the headquarters, which will get expired in the next 24 working hours. And once it gets expired after this, you will be taken under custody by the local cop. Allegations pressed on your name at this moment. We would request you to get back to us so that we can discuss about this case before taking any legal action against you. The number to reach us is 240-623-2263. I repeat, 240-623-2263. Thank you.
But they're getting better from the headquarters. Which headquarters? Army headquarters, Marine headquarters, IRS headquarters? I mean, but that's what because when they're doing it from overseas, the translation doesn't work as well. Okay, the grammar doesn't translate very well. Grammar, on scene, headquarters, local cops. Nobody says local cops. They'll say your local police department, or the Chelsea Police Department, or the Washtenaw County Sheriff's Department, Federal Bureau of Investigation. You know, and again, we'll never tell you we're coming. So this is one that Dan Whitesall, our head dispatch supervisor, got from me, apparently. He got it. It says from Police Chief Kevin Kasiak to Dan Whitesall, First of all, that's not how it comes across on my phone or on my email. It'll come across as kkziak@chelseapd.org, not this. It says, "Hi, Daniel. In over 3 years, I have never called him Daniel. I've always called him Dan." So right then and there, he's like, "Hey, I got," he showed me later that day, he's like, "I got this, but I knew it wasn't from you." I'm like, "How'd you know?" He goes, "You have never called me Daniel. It's always Dan. I want you to handle a short but effective request for me. I'm in a meeting with limited signal access to call, but I am excellent with email, if that works. I will be looking out for your reply. Thank you, Kevin Kazak, Police Chief." And it came up, Police Chief Kevin Kazak. Now that's citymail149gov@gmail.com. That's not my email address. Mine's kkziak@chelseapd.org. So he, when he looked at all of that, he knew it was a scam. But he says, that didn't even sound like me. We are very matter of fact. I would say, "Hey Dan, can you do me a favor? Can you do this?" He knows that. That's how we've conversed for the last several years. So look at things. If you get things, does it sound right? Does it look right? Okay, does it pass the sniff test?
Just before your time is up, can you tell them what you had said before about how many hours you have in the event they have gotten into your account? Isn't there like a time limit?
So I've been told, so there have been some large, in my career, some large cash withdrawals out of people's accounts. Secret Service has said they don't even touch anything unless it's over $25,000. They just don't get involved. They can't, they just have too much to do. They say within 24 to 48 hours, there's a good chance that they can help you get your money back. After 48 hours, it's gone. It's gone. They can't even get it back. Sometimes, and again, as Nancy was saying, it's even faster a lot of times for smaller amounts, but sometimes if they're larger wire transfers, if they're across the ocean or something like that, another country, they have some tricks that they can do to try to get your money back, try to pull it back. But after 24 to 48 hours, it's gone, folks. That's why do not be ashamed. Do not hesitate to get a hold of us as soon as you can. One last thing, I don't know if any of you deal in gold, but that's a big scam that's coming around, gold. People are asking you, they're posing as Secret Service, they're posing as the federal government, the FBI, saying, please go buy $500,000 in gold, up to $500,000 in gold. And once you do that, and we're gonna help us catch somebody, and they'll come in plain clothes, don't tell anybody about it. Anybody tells you to keep it a secret, don't. Okay? Unless you absolutely know. If you see me in uniform, and I say, we might not want to say this, I'll tell you why. Hey, you and I need to probably keep this to ourselves because if she finds out, there might be a problem. I don't sit there and say, we're doing a secret operation, we don't know who to trust. So just check it out. It's your money. Nobody's offended if you ask questions and try to keep your money. Just check it out. Michigan motor vehicles for apparently traffic tickets. The Michigan Department of Motor Vehicles doesn't deal with traffic tickets. Okay, that's your courts. Motor vehicle will deal with points on your record, whether your license is suspended, but you do not pay the Michigan Department of Motor Vehicles or the Secretary of State in the state of Michigan for your ticket. You pay the courts. So it's things like that. Toll booths. A lot of people are like, well, wait a minute. I did go through Ohio. I was on the turnpike, but I paid that. Do some research. Okay. But most often, I have had a rental car that doesn't have those little things, and in Florida, I don't know if you're in Florida, they don't use a lot of paid toll booths. They just snap your license plate. Rental car companies love that because you have to pay the fee for the toll, and then the rental car will tack on a fee because you were driving their car and didn't pay the toll. But a lot of these states are doing it by license plate. So, but everything comes through the mail. I never got any texts or anything like that. It all came through the mail when I got notifications when we were in Florida. So again, they'll come through the mail on official letterhead. Okay. Even that, call. If you think you paid, call. Find out. Say, hey, look, I paid this. I was here on this date. Or I wasn't even in that city. I don't know why I'm getting it. and they'll tell you if it's a scam or not. Scam. I'm sorry, but George Clooney, The Rock, Taylor Swift are not getting divorces. They don't have their money tied up. They don't need your money. I'm sorry, they don't. Leave it that. One last one I'll leave you with.
And we have found some illegal activity on your name. Kindly press 1 to connect with said agent. To opt out, press 9. If we don't hear from you, then your and will be sued.
So we think what they're saying is we found some, so this is what it said. We have found some illegal activity on your name. Kindly press 1 to contact with Sedgen. To opt out, press 9. If we don't hear from you, your ass will be sued, 10 dead. What we think they were trying to say was, we have some illegal activity on your name. Kindly press 1 to connect with an agent. To opt out, press 9. If we don't hear from you, your assets will be suspended. That's what we think they're trying to say. So just be careful. Just be careful, folks. Again, it's your money. If you're ever in doubt, please do not hesitate to call the Chelsea Police Department. Please don't think you're bothering us. Okay? We would rather help you out. If we are busy, we will tell you we don't have an officer. We're tied up. Our dispatchers will talk to you because they are very knowledgeable as well. But, and if you're talking to somebody that won't let you off the phone, come to the Chelsea Police Department. We love to talk to those people. We have lots of great conversations. You might be there a few minutes because I'll try to keep them on the phone as long as I can, just because I like to mess with them. There's not a whole lot we can do because the phones don't go back to where they're supposed to. It's hard to trace the numbers and things like that. Especially if you're not out any money. Quite frankly, we don't have the time and energy to put the assets and investigation into that if you're not out money. But if you are, we will absolutely work on trying to help you get your money back. So, I think I'm way over my time.
Tickets coming.
We're going to move on to that if you can hold it, if you can remember, just because otherwise.
So I don't have a fancy presentation. I'm going to cover a lot of stuff that everybody else has covered, so it might be a little bit of repeating, but I can actually make this extremely short. Years ago, everybody in this room, your parents told you one specific thing, which is don't talk to strangers. It is still true. To this day, it is still very true. Also, if it's too good to be true, it probably is still very true. And the last thing I could leave you with on that is everything on the internet is fake. So if you don't believe anything on the internet, you will be totally fine for the rest of your life and nothing will ever happen to you. Everybody gets scammed. I probably see, I honestly probably 15 customers a week come into my office because they have a message that came up on their screen that told not to shut their computer down because there was illegal activity on their computer or they're going to go to jail or something's going to happen. All that is, it's not even a virus on your computer, like in the normal sense of a computer virus. All it is a pop-up advertisement. So they're essentially trying to get you to call the phone number that is on the pop-up advertisement, in which case they'll tell you your computer is horribly infected and you're in very much trouble, and all you have to do to make this go away is pay them about $500. And if that $500 seems expensive, they can solve all your problems for like $399 or $299, whatever money you're willing to give them, essentially. But in reality, they're not doing anything for that money. They're just telling you and showing you things that are normal in your computer or on your phone that you never see because they're in the background. But to somebody that doesn't know what they are, it looks scary. But they'll tell you that this problem is really, really bad. They're the only ones that can solve this problem for you. But like the chief said, just shut your computer off and turn it back on again. A lot of people, when I tell them this, they'll push their power button really quickly, and that puts your computer to sleep, or that turns the screen off on your phone temporarily but leaves everything in the background. So the idea is to hold on your phone, it's a little bit different, but on your computer, if you hold the power button down for 30 seconds, your computer is all the way off. When you turn it back on again, you'll get a message when you try to get back on the internet, and it'll say something like, "We noticed that you shut down inappropriately. Click here to open the stuff you had up previously." You want to say no to that, because if you say yes, it's going to open the same page you had up before, and then you're going to be in the same exact problem. And if you get to the point where you can't get it off, if you have a grandkid or something like that that's good with computers that can walk you through it or something like that, or if you can't get a hold of them, you can bring it into me. I would rather you come in and say, "Hey, is this thing a scam?" than to call a phone number and end up losing a bunch of money. I don't mind answering questions. You can call my office at any time. If an email doesn't look right to you or you're getting a message or something like that, I would rather just answer a question than have somebody get scammed and lose a bunch of money. I've had customers lose. I just had a customer last week that went and withdrew $15,000 out of the bank because somebody told her that she needed to pay tax on something. And just pulled it out in cash and took it to a Bitcoin ATM and deposited it. If anybody ever tells you to go to a Bitcoin ATM, do not do that. There is no reason for anybody to ever go to a Bitcoin ATM machine, especially in a shady gas station. Like, it's just not the way to do it. I have a lot of Bitcoin, like in crypto, in my phone. If I want the money, I can withdraw it to my Chelsea State Bank account just by clicking a button in an app. I don't have to go to an ATM machine to withdraw it, nor would I or anybody that I know take their crypto out that way. I'm 90% sure a lot of these crypto ATMs are from companies that are perpetrating these scams. So I had a lady that came in, she withdrew, I believe, like $15,000 to $20,000 because somebody called and said that her bank told them that there was somebody working at the bank that was stealing money from accounts. And she needed to immediately take her money out because it was the only way it was going to be safe. Again, they told her to take it to a Bitcoin ATM. It's the same scam every time. They just want the money. They want you to give them gift cards. The chief talked about that. There's no legitimate reason to pay with a gift card. If you want to buy a gift card for a family member or a grandchild for a birthday or Christmas, that's totally fine. But if you don't know who it is, they don't need a gift from you anyway. They didn't buy you anything last year. So it's just it just makes it a lot easier. We talked a little bit about the romance scam stuff. I have a customer actively that believes that she is dating the country music superstar Travis Tritt. I'm not going to say anything disparaging about her looks or anything. It's not real. A lot of times what happens is people will see that you joined a fan club online for a particular celebrity, and that you're like liking their post and you're commenting on their post, and then they will send you a message from a fake profile they made up on Instagram or Facebook with that celebrity's name on it, and they're like, "Oh my God, I'm so excited that you're following me, and I looked at your profile and you're so interesting and beautiful, and I would love to talk to you." And they'll keep doing this and keep doing this. And I know personally that she has sent him like 7 iPhones, like brand new iPhones, probably close to $10,000 or $15,000 in cash. And it got to the point where her bank wouldn't even let her withdraw her own money anymore because they knew what was happening. But she still wouldn't listen. So now she believes she's dating Johnny Depp and some general in the military. And I've had to explain each time these people are not real. Like, it's just not, like, it's not happening. But it's hard to convince people sometimes, because people get lonely, it happens. I mean, it's one of those things, but you just gotta be safe online. That's why I tell people, anything you see on the internet, there's a good chance it's not real. If anybody in here use Facebook, like pretty much everybody, right? So you can get paid on Facebook as a person that goes on there and makes incendiary comments that make people upset. And so basically, you get paid per impression. So everybody that clicks on your comment, if they hate your comment, or they laugh at your comment, or they comment back to you and reply, Facebook will actually pay you for that. So when you see people stirring stuff up on the internet and you're quick to jump on the keyboard and start typing against them, you have to realize that these people that are posting this stuff are literally getting paid every single time that you dislike or comment or like or click on their thing. So that's how they're making money now. Some of these people are making $20,000 a month just by posting dumb stuff on the internet, basically, and just stirring the pot. And it happens a lot in politics because everybody gets heated about politics. And so they'll go on there and they'll post in a group about one person's favorite politician, that we hate this person or whatever, and then everybody will make 500 comments, and they just made $500 for the day and literally did nothing other than make you mad. So it's one of those things. Passwords, do not save them on your computer at all. If you are going to not listen to my advice today, name it something other than passwords. Do not put it on the desktop of your computer, labeled passwords. I see that 20, 30 times a year. That when somebody gets in remotely into your computer and they can see your whole desktop, they're going to see that passwords file, and it's the first thing they're taking, it automatically. Your browser, when you log into web pages, one of the things it's going to do is it's going to ask you if you want to save your password. It's okay if it's a site that doesn't have any kind of financial information, but you don't want to save your online banking, you don't want to save your social security password, you don't want to save any of those passwords like that, because that, if somebody logs in, they can go right into your browser and just export your whole password list in one shot. You don't even know it's happening because they're doing it so quickly. The best idea is to get yourself a little book, write down your password, write down the website it's for, and then write the date next to it. If you have to change it, cross that one out, write the date next to the next one, so that you know the last password that you have for literally everything, and that'll keep you pretty safe. Don't be embarrassed if you do get scammed. It happens to everybody. My favorite story about this is I was actually at a garage sale, and I got a call from Chelsea State Bank. And they told me, the lady on the phone's like, I'm pretty sure I already know the answer to this, but I have to ask you, did you just order $400 worth of merchandise from a company called I Like to Grow Marijuana.com? And I was like, no, that definitely wasn't me. And she's like, okay, I thought so, and we've already stopped the charge, but we need you to come in and just fill out this form for us or whatever, so we can make sure that it doesn't go through properly. And I was like, okay. It's one of those things that the bank was talking about it, and sometimes they're going to have to ask you questions. I really wish that sometimes when people went into CVS or Walgreens or whatever pharmacy or whatever, and they bought $5,000 worth of gift cards, that the person at the counter would say, "What do you got all your grandkids having birthdays on the same day? What's going on with the gift cards?" Like, everybody doesn't want everybody in their business. I understand the whole privacy thing. But at the end of the day, just a question like the bank asking you why you're all of a sudden showing up and asking for $10,000, it's not because they want to know why you're spending your money. Most of the time it's going to be because they don't want you to get scammed. And it's never a small amount. If somebody called you and said, hey, it's $100 and we just need this $100 from you or whatever, most people wouldn't even blink. It'd be no big deal, you can lose $100. But I had a lady in my office crying because she withdrew $20,000, and which was her entire life savings, and took it to a Bitcoin ATM. That money does not come back. It's gone. That's why they have crypto. Originally, the idea for crypto was to allow people to buy things illegally without it being traced. That still happens today on the dark web. A lot of people use crypto to buy everything from child pornography to illicit drugs, and that's why a lot of people are trading in that stuff, and that money's non-traceable. So you imagine, like, if you just walking up to me in the parking lot and you don't know who I am and just handing me a bag full of your life savings, and I walk away and we never see each other again. You're never going to see that money. It's gone. the internet is a scary place. AI is getting, it's a good tool for certain things, but even the news gets tripped up by it quite a bit. I use AI so much, every AI app in existence on my phone. I literally talk to it in the car instead of listening to the radio because I have ADHD and I think I'm slightly autistic, I'm not really sure. But I'm not normal, as most of you, if you've had me, I've probably done work on your computer, if you've seen me before, you know I'm not normal. So that should not surprise any of you that I'm talking to a robot in my car. I have no friends. But it's good at certain things, and I use it so much that I can see things. Like if I see a business making a post and they're using AI in it, I can tell AI made it. And I can tell which AI made it just by looking at it. And I can also, when I'm hearing a voice or whatever on the phone, somebody talking to me, I can tell if AI is talking to me or if it's a person. And it's not easy. Like some drive-through restaurants like Rally's in Jackson, they don't even have a regular drive-through worker anymore. They have an AI that actually talks to you in the drive-through. So, and it sounds like a real person. It asks you questions like a real person would ask them. So when somebody calls about it's a grandkid or something like that, they can actually be using a sample of their voice and sound like just like that vacation or whatever. And I tell people to put their Facebook on private because somebody can pull your Facebook up and they can look at every picture you've taken and see that vacation that you're on right now, or that somebody's on a vacation or doing something. That's just another way that they can get in there and they can get a hold of your stuff a lot easier. The internet is scary. It is a scary place. And people are going to scam you no matter what it is. Everybody, since the dawn of time, everybody remembers chain letters, I'm sure, in the audience. That's the same thing. It's the internet. As soon as somebody figures out there's a way to scam you, somebody will use that way to scam you. So the AI being the newest thing, internet before that, people call you on the phone trying to do it. I just had a guy come to my house at 8 o'clock at night on an electric unicycle telling me that he was from Consumers Energy and going to save me money on my gas bill. I have propane at my house. Consumers doesn't have propane. Nobody in my neighborhood has Consumers for gas. But he was walking up with a badge from some company I have never even heard of before, telling me he was from DTE and going to save me money on my gas bill. By the way, that is a scam. If you want to seem really smart for any of your family members, like I will give you this bit of advice that you can lord over them. If you see them posting on Facebook that they need votes to win this contest, it's fake. It's what I call a charity scam. I have a friend right now that's doing this, trying to win like some Top Chef thing or something like that. And the problem with that is it's the money legitimately goes to charity, but what they don't tell you is this contest goes on for almost a year. And the only way to win this contest is to outspend everybody. Like, you have to buy the extra votes. So you can share your links and you can tell people to vote for free once a day, you'll never win. And the idea is they get these people all wound up that they might win this experience, and they go out and they spend all of this money buying votes and asking their friends to buy votes for them. And they don't realize that literally somebody with $30,000, $40,000 has probably already won the contest because they bought more votes than everybody else just to win. But I see this every week. I have tons of friends that fall for this stuff all the time, and people I don't even know that I see, oh, could you just buy me a like for this so that I can win this contest? And like, no, it's not real. I can't think of anything. I think I've covered just about everything. The most important stuff to remember, like I said, don't talk to strangers. It seems easy, right? Everybody's heard it in this room. I guarantee so many times your parents have told you. But
I would just real quick touch on when you're creating a password, not to use your pet's name or your something easy, which is everybody's natural tendency, but those are easy to hack into. Yeah,
the pet's names for the passwords themselves are not a problem. If you want to have your password be like 1987 fluffy with an exclamation point after it, that's not a problem. Your password hints are the problem. So I usually tell people, if they ask you what the name of your favorite pet is in your password hints, Don't use the name of your actual dog. Write that password, write that hint down on the same page you're writing your passwords down on if you ever have to reset it. Because there's so many times on Facebook where somebody's like, oh, look at this cute dog. What's your dog's name? And you'll see everybody, 1,000 comments coming down. Like, oh yeah, this is my dog's name. I was okay, now I have their email address because I just looked at their Facebook profile. I know their dog's name. I can see their kid's name because it's stored in their Facebook profile. I can see the street they grew up on because I went back through their historical photos, and now I can see what street they grew up on or what their wife's name is and all that stuff. So it's very easy to guess somebody's or get their password reset. The bank covered this a little bit, but the second factor authentication, turn it on everything. If anything asks you, your bank, your social security, any of that asks you for the two-factor authentication, always do that, because somebody tries to log in and they get a hold of your stuff, they're going to text you a code automatically, and you're going to use that code to get yourself back into your account. If they get a hold of your stuff, you're still going to get the text, they're not getting in. So there's a lot of passkey stuff which is similar to that, where you can use your phone and your fingerprint or your face if you have an iPhone to log in. You don't really need, I'll cover one more thing, you don't really need virus protection on your iPhone or an Android phone. Your phones are pretty locked down unless you go in and specifically say you can install things that nobody knows about. But other than that, like I said, don't talk to strangers. Everything on the internet is fake. And if it's too good to be true, it probably is, like in just about every case.
Do you have an opinion about password managers?
If you want to use a password manager, like I recommend LastPass because it's the easiest one to use, and they have a free version that covers up to, I believe, 100 websites. But I still tell people to write your password down also, because a company on the internet doesn't go out of business over weeks. It goes out of business like that. So if you have all your passwords saved in one particular app and they decide to stop developing it, it disappears instantly. All your passwords are gone. So if you use a program like LastPass, like I was telling him, make sure you also keep a paper copy. Or LastPass also gives you the option to print out a password list so that you can have that and like put it in your desk drawer like she was talking about, so that you can pull it out and get that information. But just don't store them unencrypted on your computer where anybody can get a hold of them.
I was just curious, if you sign up for your multi-factor and it's not you, but you're receiving a multi-factor, what would you recommend at that point?
If you get a multi-factor request or something like that, trying to make a change to your account immediately, just change your password. Everybody hates changing their passwords, I'm included. I think I counted it over the weekend. I have nearly 87 email addresses. And I own 190 different domain names. I have passwords for accounts that I don't even use anymore, and that I have to try to remember, and I write them down because I can't remember anything. I will remember all of your faces and what we talked about today, but I can't remember where I put my keys half the time. ADHD is a fun experience sometimes, but my short-term memory is non-existent. So everybody's like, oh, I can't remember anything. I've been there, trust me. Write it down. It will save your life sometimes.
Unknown caller.
It's probably a scam.
It was.
Is there a question?
Earlier you mentioned not doing the safe password routine. Is there a way to remove all the ones I've already done?
Yeah, so if you're in your web browser, typically if you use Firefox or Google Chrome or Microsoft Edge, if you go to the upper right-hand corner of your browser, there's either a little gear or there's 3 dots or 3 lines up there. When you click that, you'll actually see where it'll say passwords, and then it'll give you the list of all the ones that you've saved. And you can just go down and click the little trash can next to each one of them. But like I said, if it's for something like that you don't have your credit card stored in, maybe like you like to shop on PetSmart or something like that, but your credit card's encrypted and you don't have access to that. It's mostly for banking. You don't want somebody getting into your bank account. See, I see this all the time. People store their online banking passwords, and like I said, if you gave me remote access to your computer in less than 2 seconds, I could have every password you have on there. every single password, all your bank account logins, all your favorites and where you're banking at specifically. I can have all that information in less than 2 minutes. All I gotta do is keep you on the phone. I can be like, oh yeah, look, the screen, it's doing all this other stuff. And while I'm doing that, I'm behind the scenes grabbing all your passwords and doing all that stuff. So it's a lot easier and a lot quicker than most people would expect.
Are any of the identity theft monitoring services like LifeLock or Experience, are they any good, and if so, which one is best?
I mean, LifeLock, from what I've heard, is pretty good. It's sponsored by Norton. Norton and Experian, I believe, run LifeLock for the most part, so they monitor your stuff. But you can also, I don't know if Nancy covered it today, but you can actually lock your credit if you don't plan to use it. It doesn't affect your credit score or anything like that. It basically locks it so that nobody else can pull credit on your account. That's a problem there. There's also another scam that I've been seeing a little bit, not in this area or whatever, but people that have like investment properties that are in other states. There's been a rash of people that have been going around and filling out quick claim deeds and just signing your name and your property ID on there, and then going to the county and paying their $25 to record their deed or whatever, and now they own your property and they're selling it, and you don't know. So sometimes it's a good idea to kind of check in on that stuff. You can usually go right on the Register of Deeds website and type in your name and see what properties you currently own for just about any municipality that you're located in, so you can keep track of that.
And for every county now, you can go and ask for a notification.
Yep.
So you can request, if anything gets done with your deed, they email you.
Yep.
Do you do like wellness checks on computers?
Yes, yeah, I do that all the time.
Okay.
And customers sometimes. I get customers call me to ask me to come mow their lawn. I don't know where to get my I had a customer call. I was on vacation. I was in the Philippines a couple months ago. And I had a customer call while I was out of town and asked if I could cancel their Meals on Wheels because they forgot to do it before they left to go on their vacation.
And your company's name is Bulldog?
Yeah.
I've never met you. Okay, thank you.
There's some cards on the table.
Okay, two, great.
Are there more questions?
I was just wondering, what did you say about facial recognition and fingerprint recognition for signing in accounts?
So if you log in anything new, like lately, Microsoft has been a big one doing it. If you have like an Office 365 account or Outlook or even Yahoo and Gmail are starting to do it. They're doing this thing, what they're calling is like a pass key. So instead of a regular password, they're giving you the option to use a biometric option, like using your fingerprint or using your Face ID on your iPhone instead of having to remember the password. Essentially, the website itself stores your login information for you. But I still recommend, I mean, your fingerprint is your fingerprint. Nobody else has the same one. Your face is practically, I mean, there are stories about people holding their boyfriend or girlfriend's picture over their phone and unlocking it. That literally can't happen. It's mostly secure, but you can still turn on the two-factor authentication as a backup. It's always good to have a backup. The same thing with your files on your computer. If you have anything you don't want to lose, it needs to be in two places at all times. You don't want to just go get an external hard drive and dump all of your pictures you've been collecting for years onto it, because that drive will die at some point. So it always needs to be in two places all the time. If you can't afford to lose it, that's a good piece of advice to follow.
More questions?
It can be about anything. I know pretty much everything.
Just for people that pass away that have Facebook accounts, should somebody in the family shut those down somehow? Or is there any risk of a deceased person's Facebook account out?
I mean, people will actually clone a Facebook account. That does happen pretty frequently. They'll take somebody's Facebook picture, and that's why I tell people to keep your Facebook on private, because if it's not, somebody can literally go in, take your Facebook profile picture, create another Facebook profile with your specific name on it. They can grab some of your pictures from your gallery and put it on their Facebook profile, and then they go through your friends list and they start adding every one of your friends. And that's how, and then they'll turn around and start messaging those same friends and telling them that, oh, we have this stuff going on or whatever, I need money for this or whatever. If you're at the age where you're starting to do some like end of life or estate planning, and you do have a Facebook account, you can actually go into your settings in Facebook and set a beneficiary. So somebody that can manage your Facebook account after you end up passing. And that'll allow them to either deactivate your Facebook account, or if they want to leave it up in like memorandums so that people can comment when they remember your birthday and stuff like that, which a lot of people find helpful, you can still keep that going. But it doesn't cost anything, it stays up there literally forever, or somebody can turn it off for you. But Facebook and Instagram and just about all the social media platforms give you the beneficiary option. Yeah.
If you haven't set up a beneficiary, the person's already passed, can you retroactively make it a in memoriam?
Not very easily. That's kind of the problem with it. Facebook has gotten to the point now, they used to make it easy if somebody hacked into your Facebook account, but it's like pulling teeth now to get them to let you get back into your account. They used to let you like take a picture of the front and back of your driver's license if somebody got in and get in that way. You can also use that for what you're talking about. You could do like a death notice or something like that, or you could front and back of their ID to do it. And they've removed a lot of those features, which were common sense things that they just don't allow you to do anymore.
Yeah, one thing that hadn't been mentioned is that if somebody calls and during conversation, if they ask, am I coming through clearly enough? The thing is to never answer the word yes. The recording, the word yes. What you answer is reasonably so, but never the word yes. The other is that people laughed a bit about some of these other scams, romance, and I've been in a crash. And that happened to a relative of mine. It's very sad, and a very kind-hearted retiree. And the person called up, said they'd been in a crash, using the word grandma. Well, she has a number of grandchildren. And she used the name of her favorite grandchild. And that's how the whole conversation started. Yeah. She sent out money. But the banks are suspicious. They used to tell people, the scammers, now when you go to your bank, don't say it's for personal things. And this isn't 5 figures, so it wasn't just a couple of thousand.
Yeah.
And now the thing is, they're going to use it for home improvement. In this one case, it was a redo of a kitchen. And so they released the money in cash, and she boxed it up and sent it out with the instructions. And only got suspicious a week later when they called back for another load of money. And then it was a lower amount because, and she went to the bank and boxed it up and sent it out and got suspicious and called the law got involved and the post office. And to the credit of the U.S. Post Office, they tracked where it went. And it was going through Atlanta from here in Michigan. And they had these dogs beagles, I guess, they smell for explosives, drugs.
Yeah.
And in this case, the solvent used in currency. If you have new bills, the dogs will pick up the solvent. And that's how they picked out that box. And she got that money back, but that was a lesser half.
Yeah, it's more often than not, people end up losing that money. So we're talking about like the 24 to 48 hours thing, especially if it's like crypto involved, like the crypto ATM stuff. Gift cards, as soon as somebody inputs the numbers from a gift card, that money's gone. The gift card companies do not refund that money at all. And the scams exist everywhere, like the romance scam thing that people have talked about and stuff like that. I have a buddy that he's 70, I think he's 74 years old, one of the smartest human beings I have ever met in my entire life. Started talking to a girl from the Philippines on the internet. Now, mind you, my fiance is from the Philippines, so my first question is, where is she from? And he's like, well, she said she's from like a small city in the north, and I was like, what city is she from? And he's like, oh, she's from Manila, and I'm like, okay, she's a scammer, automatically. Like, I know ahead of time that this is what is occurring. And no, I don't think so, because she let me talk to her sister and her mother, and I was like, for literally $20, I can bribe a cop over there. Like, you can find somebody, walk out on the street, be like, hey, get on this video call with me really quick, and I'll share this money this guy's about to send me. I was like, it's a scammer. And he's like, no, I just don't believe that she seems like such a nice person. And then about a week later, I'm sitting watching TV, and I get a phone call, and he's like, yeah, she just asked me for $4,600. And I was like, uh-huh. And I was like, what did we learn from this? He's like, she's probably scamming me and I need to stop talking to her. I was like, that's exactly what I told you almost a month ago. And he's like, well, she seems so nice. And I was like, everybody seems so nice until they start asking you for money. It's just one of those things. You just got to be careful. It's just a lot of this common sense. Yep, common sense and take your time.
Where would you call after hours if you have been, find out you've been scammed?
Like, for like money or something like that? Or
Yeah.
you can actually, if you have your debit card, your credit card, there's an 800 number directly on the back of it.
Yeah.
And you can call that number 24 hours a day. So they can tell you, like if somebody calls you and says, hey, you just bought 8 iPhones on your credit card or something like that, you can actually call that number on the back of your card and they can tell you whether or not somebody has actually made a charge before the bank even knows sometimes. They will see that charge on there pending. So 9 times out of 10, nobody bought an iPhone. They're just trying to get you to call so they can tell you, oh yeah, we just put all this money back in your account, but oops, we gave you 10,000 more. And now you're gonna get arrested if you don't return it by gift cards back to us again. So it's just, there's no rhyme or reason to it. Everybody is out to get you essentially on the internet, and it's just take your time, don't be embarrassed about it. It happens to literally everybody. If something doesn't look right, you can call me, I don't care. Maybe I can be eating my lunch and you call me and say this email doesn't look right. Is there something wrong with it? And I'll be like, don't click on that, that's bad. Like just, I'd rather save somebody the loss of money than to not get my prize when they're still hot. So you're totally good. You can call me anytime you need to, and I don't charge for that.
Where do you buy, or can you buy, safe gift cards to send?
Every gift card that you can, like go to CVS or you go to Myers, you can buy a gift card. They're safe when you're buying them for the purpose you're intending them for. So if you're buying a gift card for your daughter or something like that, and it's a $20 gift card for a birthday, it's totally fine. The problem comes in is when you're buying the gift card because somebody tells you to buy the gift card. So that's when it's an issue.
I had heard that if you get some of those gift cards, they have been erased or programmed from the back, and that if you send it to someone, the person that has scammed it gets the money. Is that true?
I have not seen that. I can't speak to whether or not that actually occurs that often. I haven't seen that personally. But I know the gift card stuff it's pretty prevalent and changing all the time.
It's rare, but it does happen that somebody gets a hold of those, will go onto the gift card rack, and they will be able to get some of those numbers off of it. You may not, usually when you go to activate them when you pay for them, it gets caught at that time. If they don't, you're not liable for anything. You just may not be able, it just may be a zero balance on the card. Does that make sense? Meaning they already took the money off that card and put it back on the rack.
Or sometimes they can actually just go grab like 30 or 40 cards from the rack, and then they can try to pay you with a gift card for something that doesn't exist. Because those cards aren't activated until you go to the cash register or go to the bank or whatever where you're getting your gift card at and add the money to it. There's nothing actually physically, you'll see a card that says $50 on it. There's not $50 on that card until it's scanned at the register and you paid your $50. That card is worthless. But people will literally steal pockets full of these cards, and then they will go to pay you for something they're buying with these cards. And oh, no, yeah, oh, you just want 20? Well, all I have is this $50 gift card, and I'll give this to you. It's worth 30 more than you're asking, but there's no money on the gift card at all because it's not even been activated.
And some businesses will not accept gift cards or sell them after a certain time of day now, because that's typically when they do this, is in the evening, when they know you can't get a hold of your bank or, you know, somebody else. So there are businesses now that won't even sell them at a certain time of night.
The other is the one way the scam does work is photographed a number of the gift card in the store. They just leave it there, never take it home, but they keep scanning it every day to see has somebody loaded money on it. As soon as they do, they pull the money out. So that's why the newer gift cards have a terrible strip over the code number. And if that strip has been pulled aside and then put back down, you can notice that the number's compromised.
I just thought I was about to get rich for a second, then you just spoiled it for me. Can't train an AI to do that for me. Anybody have any other questions for anybody?
When you leave there, where do we find you?
Do you know where the Secretary of State is? I'm in the same hallway. I practically live there. Except for today, I have a chiropractor appointment to go to after this, so I won't be there the rest of the day. But usually, I'm almost always there. Or you can reach me by email. If you email me from my website or my email address is on the card or whatever, even if it's on the weekend and you send me an email about something you're worried about, it goes right to my cell phone and I answer it. It doesn't matter what time of day or night it is. If I'm sleeping and it doesn't wake me up, you might have to wait 3 or 4 hours. But other than that, I answer every email if you send me one. So if it's after hours, it's on the weekend. If you send me an email, I'm probably just watching TV or playing video games or something. I will literally answer your message and be like, don't click on that, it's probably a scam.
Just a little comment. There was something in the news maybe a year ago where I think it was the FBI said less than 50% of romance scams are ever reported because people are embarrassed to death.
That's why I tell people not to be embarrassed. It happens to literally everybody. I mean, it's funny to laugh at thinking that a celebrity is really going to be approaching you or whatever because they're madly in love with you, but people believe it. And sometimes people just get lonely and your mind can start wandering and it becomes very real to certain people. And it's just take your time, let the common sense just kick back into your brain. Like Nancy was saying, like at the bank, somebody says they're from the bank, hang up the phone, call your bank back. You're not the number that just called you, but call the number that you have for the bank so that you can verify, because these people will say literally anything. It's horrible. It's horrible. But if we can keep one person in this room from getting scammed, then getting up here and talking when I have horrible, crippling social anxiety will make this whole day worth it for me. And you get a call and just call me and tell me, hey, I listened to you and this worked and I didn't get scammed, I will be totally happy to hear that, because this is not easy for me to stand up here.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Just quickly, I understand that if you get an email, check where it's from, because if it ends in googly-gop, it's a scam.
Yeah, you go into the from section at the top of your email or whatever, you can see, like, and another thing you'll notice too sometimes, if you actually scroll all the way down the email, you might have an email saying that it's from like American Express or whatever, but you scroll all the way down to the bottom of the email and you'll see 80 other email addresses down there, because they basically copied that email to all these other people and sent it, because most of these scammers are not that smart. They literally blind copy email addresses. You never see them there, but they're not smart enough, so they put them in the body of the email at the bottom and send them out that way. And just apparently they're not sophisticated enough to figure out that doesn't work very well. But I had somebody that got a message from Publishers Clearinghouse, and they had they were getting a call from a Google Voice number, and the Google Voice number was from an email address that said Publishers Clearinghouse 0092@gmail.com. Obviously, they have their own website. They're not going to be sending you something from Gmail. I have a Bulldog computer repair website. If you get an email from me, it's going to be coming from Bulldog Computer Repair, unless I've known you for years, like you probably would have my Gmail address or whatever. Rarely will anybody have my actual email address. And that always works the other way. Oh yeah, Publishers Clearinghouse filed bankruptcy, so I don't believe anything. I'm not going to get the giant check anymore.
The man always tells people that he has a really boring job, so he likes it when people call or come in and see him and talk to him about this stuff.
Okay, if I could just ask for one more round of applause for Nancy for that.